Welcome to the Live the Call podcast, where I speak with guests living and working their soul's purpose. I'm Pamela Downes, founder of Spirit Calling and trans-channeler of the Great Council of Light. Every episode, our guests share their awakening story, and together we learn how they came to live their spirit's call. Join me in tales of self-discovery, enlightenment, and transformation to amplify your healing journey.
So I got this, literally heard this message, finish what you started. Because in 1996, I thought about starting a program for amputees through horses and bringing out what they gave to me.
Welcome to Live the Call, where we explore living with purpose and embracing your true calling. I'm your host, Pamela Downes, and today I'm thrilled to welcome Jodie O'Connell-Ponkos. She is the founder of Destiny's Ride. After a life-changing accident at 16, Jodi found healing and strength through the power of horses. Now she helps others transform their lives through her therapeutic riding program. Her work is all about empowerment and confidence and self-discovery. So we're going to dive into her inspiring journey. Welcome, 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 Jodi. I've been looking forward to this conversation.
Hi, Pamela. I'm so excited to be here. Thank you so much for
Yeah.
having me.
Oh, you're so welcome. So I met you and we had a call before and we got to know each other, and it was just immediate. Like, you have such a great energy, such a light that shines from you. And then I found out about the work, and then I found out about your journey, and I couldn't wait, honestly, to share it on Live the Call, because you literally are living the call. And I'd love to dive into that. So why don't we begin with you sharing your story, Jodi?
Okay. I have loved horses all of my life. And I started riding probably somewhere around 9 or 10 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And at the age of 16, I experienced a traumatic accident and I lost my dominant right hand. It happened the first day of summer going into my junior year of high school. So it was pretty
Wow.
traumatic.
Mm-hmm.
4 years, 4 years, 4 weeks later, I was back at the barn and I found myself. And so during that course of the summer, I found me, I gained confidence, and the horses they accepted me for who I was. So here I am, 16 years old. My whole life has changed. Everyone's looking at me. Nobody knows what to do with me. And in 1985, there was no internet. So I
Mm-mm.
really was left all on my own and nobody understood me. But the horses
Wow.
did, and the horses didn't judge me. So I really got to experience and just learn and grow. And I remember getting on the horse, and my doctor said, first thing, you cannot fall off this horse. And I was like, oh, great. That's just great. So I rode and I'm like figuring things out. And at the time, it was like a Western saddle. So I'm trying to figure out how my arm is bandaged and I'm trying to figure out how to lift this heavy Western saddle. How do I get this bridle on? And the horse just stood there. She dropped her head, let me get the bridle on. And I went and I rode. And when I got off, my friend says to me, don't take this the wrong way, but you ride better with one hand than you do with two.
Oh my goodness. Wow.
So,
Oh my
because there's a
gosh.
thought and a feel, and horses are so intuitive. Someone once
Mhm.
told me that dolphins are the highest spiritual animal. Horses are second. So horses
Mm,
ground us, they feel us, they match us.
mm.
They actually bond with us through our heartbeat. So even though we have a saddle or something, they match their heartbeat to ours.
That's
So that,
incredible.
yeah. So if you're nervous, the horse feels it. They're like, hey, what's going on? If you're sad, the horse feels it. And then they just bring out this compassion so that by the time that you're done, you just feel like a different person. So I spent the whole summer just with the horses and learning, and so I had, before I lost my hand in June, I had, and actually this June will be 40 years ago that this happened.
Oh my goodness.
So
Wow.
I had signed up for the swim team. And in the end of August, I did. I think the horses gave me that courage to believe in myself. And I went for the swim team, stayed on the swim team. And you're dealing with no one's ever seen a one-handed swimmer.
That's
And
like
so,
incredible.
yeah, so I used to just to make people get humor for staring at me, I took a black magic marker and I drew a smiley face on the end of my arm so that every time I swam, they would see the smiley face coming out of the
They're
water.
like, there she
So
is.
yeah, so it helped me. My humor just brought helped other people feel better
Yeah.
because nobody knew how to do this. This is just it was a freak accident,
Hmm.
and it was, but whenever you go back and you look at it, you say, this was all part of my divine plan. This all
Yes.
happened for a reason. And although I did not understand it at the age of 16, as I was getting older, and then I'm in my 20s, and I'm like starting to like see something. And it was in my 20s that I was like, I think I want to become an occupational therapist. Didn't do it. I was a retail store manager for TJ Maxx for many, many years, got
Mhm.
married. I have two children, 24 and 27. And in 2008, when I was working for KB Toys corporate office, they closed and I was without a job, single mom. And I'm like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? So I got we literally heard this message, finish what you started.
Oh
Because
my gosh.
in 1996, I thought about starting a program for amputees through horses and bringing out what they gave to me.
Hmm.
So because, my son was born in 97, my daughter was born in 2000, and in 2006, I was getting divorced. So it was just like so much. And then I got certified as a therapeutic riding instructor, and I launched Destiny's Ride in 2009. So last
Oh my
June, we
goodness.
celebrated 15 years of doing this.
It's incredible.
2 years ago, I took the leap of faith and I became a not-for-profit organization. And this past September, I just passed my board exam. So I'm now an occupational therapist.
Yay.
So that is all to help to expand and grow Destiny's Ride so I can help many more people. So
Yay.
it's been an amazing journey. But I just know that this is where I'm supposed to be.
Hmm.
Even like not many people after 15 years, I've been doing this full time. I started it when I was a single mom, working full time. If I didn't have the money to pay for the horse's board, it was coming out of my pocket.
Hmm.
It was a tough 15 years. But when you know you're making a difference in the lives of others and you have an autistic child who speaks for the first time and says hello to you, your heart melts. You
Yeah.
know, you know that for that 30 minutes you're enriching their lives. And my husband says, what you don't realize is you are making a difference in these people's lives. And if they could tell you, they would. He goes,
Hmm.
not many people have the patience to just work with them and just help them in any positive way. And if I can just make a difference and enrich their life in one way so that their day is better when they leave me, then I've done my job. With
Hmm.
hopes, we will, as a not for profit, be able to that I can start to get paid and do this and do it full time paid instead of working full time and doing Destiny Drive
Right.
full time. So
That
we
beautiful
have a
picture. Yes.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. So it's been a journey, but I couldn't imagine not doing it. It
No,
feels like right where I'm supposed to be.
it does. And I can feel the energy coming from you. And I just want to tell you, you clearly have you're a strong, strong person. You're so
Thank
resilient.
you.
You're a visionary. And, we have to do certain things. It's like we have to have our experiences spiritually to set us up, right, on our journey. And then, of course, you had your children and you have your marriage, and there are other experiences that you're supposed to have. But for you to have finish what you started, it was like a return now that we're taking all of that and bringing it now to the next chapter of your life. And it takes
Yeah.
guts and it takes vision and it takes all of it's that feel, it's that pull, it's that I can't turn my eyes away from this. I have to do this, a conviction inside of you. It's remarkable and it's so beautiful. Beautiful. When you're telling your story, I'm seeing you as a little girl, like hopping back up on that horse. Like nothing's gonna stop you, you know. You're like you were swimming, you were like you have tenacity is the word, you know.
Yeah, yeah,
And I
yeah,
would love for you to send me a picture of yourself when you were a kid. That would be amazing. Um,
yeah.
I'd love to hear I'd love to hear if you wouldn't mind sharing that story about your son and how you were able to turn it around for him to speak. Like, how did you know to do that? Like, what did you do? What were you
Oh, for
intuiting?
the
Yeah.
the little boy, the autistic
Yeah.
boy. Um, it was, I learned, and that was within my first year of opening Destiny's Ride.
Wow.
I have a very strong intuition. I sense, I feel, and I just know. And
Mm-hmm.
I was helping him to get on the horse. And I was just no with when you're dealing with autism individuals, you have to be open. You have to be open because they see right through people who are not genuine and true.
Mm-hmm.
And I learned that you can push them, but you need to know when to stop. You need to know when you can push, when you can't. And he couldn't figure out like how to get his foot in the stirrup and how to get on the horse. And so I was just like gently like, okay, do you want to do this? And so he was like, and I said, see blue, because I have rainbow reins. And I said, see the blue, put your hand on the blue. And he's like, blue. And I was like,
Oh,
I was like, "Phew, we're gonna
incredible.
take that. That's a good thing."
Mm-hmm.
So, and I was like, "Yes, that's correct." So I knew when he spoke to me that he trusted me.
Mm-hmm.
And so we got him up, and I don't think I heard him say many more words after that, but I took that as a blessing. And I took it as,
Yeah.
okay, I got through to him. And so later, another time I was talking to his mother and I said, they put up a wall quickly, don't they? If you push them
Mm.
or you upset them, she said, and when that wall goes up, you will never get it back down again.
Wow.
So 15 years ago, I've never forgotten that. So when I get nonverbal autism, I have to feel, I have to understand where they're coming from, and I think the difference is that I live with a disability every single
Mm-hmm.
day. I
Mm-hmm.
get stared at. People judge and they think and they say, you can't do this, you can't do that. You know, they're always, people do not come from a loving place. They just look at
Mm-hmm.
you and they just say, so, so like if a kid sees me and they'll be like, so I have my bionic hand on today. So, but if
Mm-hmm.
they see I don't have it on or I do have it, and they're like, Mommy, look, she doesn't have a hand. And the mother's like, shh, 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 shh. You're not teaching that child how to deal with us. So if the
Yes.
child has a question about a person in a wheelchair, someone with an artificial leg or hand, or they're
Mm-hmm.
missing it, that, if they would just explain it, they're curious. I
Mm-hmm.
work, I work in a school with emotionally disturbed children,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm an OT there. And I don't always like to wear my prosthetic because it's almost like, like a tight pair of jeans, like after you eat
Mm-hmm.
a full Thanksgiving dinner and you're like, oh, well, sometimes that's the best way that I can explain the hand and I don't want to. And so I just won't wear it. And then, I had to deal with these kids because we have a pool at school. And I was like, I can't go swimming. These kids have only seen me with this hand. Now I have to break this barrier, knowing they could have a negative behavior because
Mm-hmm.
I look different and I have one hand.
Mm-hmm.
So I did it slowly and I did it in the winter and I went wear the hand. And then and they weren't sure and they're kind of looking. And then it was like short sleeves and then I went wear it and I just waited to see. And so one of the kids came and I was leaning in the cafeteria and she came over and she squeezed the end of my arm and she goes, nowhere today? And I said, no. She goes, yeah. And then I'm walking down the aisle in the school, and a boy who has autism came up and he started squishing it. He's like, so cool. And the person that was beside me said, doesn't that bother you? And I said, I want you to take a step back and I want you to think for a moment. If I pulled away, I would make him think that there's something wrong. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
going to let him explore. He has autism. He has a disability. So therefore, I need to, I want him to accept me for who I am,
Mm-hmm.
not the bionic hand, not the person who has, I'm a person who can do almost anything, whether
Mm-hmm.
it's tying my shoes, putting my hair up, putting anything that I can do. So, and that's just like that whole learning curve that people just don't. And it's not that, and I really don't like the word disability. I just do things differently.
Right.
I'm able to, it's not like I'm disabled,
Mm-hmm.
because, and I think it's such a bad word. It's just, and I say to little kids, and I say to them, that's what makes me different than you. We all
That's
are
what makes you
different. We're
special.
all special in our
Mm-hmm.
own way. And this is what makes me special. So what's special about you?
Mm-hmm.
And it
Absolutely.
gets them to kind of like, and you know what? They end up accepting people who do look different,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
Mm-hmm.
And the kindergartners, they're all like, and they're like the bionic hand and they want to press the buttons and they want to play with it. I don't care. I don't
Okay.
care. you know so you just so it's just it's like just this journey, but you'll have to see them at their end. I don't see, like I say to everyone, I might be 56 years old, but I still act like I'm 24. I will get
Mm-hmm.
on the floor and play with the kids. It's not,
Yeah.
because it's that playfulness and it's that fun. And I think when we do that, it enables us to be genuine. And
Mm-hmm.
it just makes you experience life to such a greater degree that you're like, you know what, life is good. I could
Yeah.
sit there and say, life is horrible. Woe is me. I lost my hand. Feel pity for me. That's not me. My dad said to me, he's like, look, he said it to me when I was 16. We might be Irish, but we don't have the luck of the Irish. So you better just pull up your bootstraps and you need to go. You're not going to get things handed to you, and you have to fight. You have to you have to know that people are going to just treat you differently. They're not going to be nice. And you have to work harder than everybody else to prove who you are and that you can do it.
Mm-hmm.
And that never left me. Unfortunately, made
Mm-hmm.
me a perfectionist, you know, but
Right.
but you're still like, you have to go. And and that's what made me just never give up, is that
Yeah.
I just had to keep going.
Yeah. It's awesome. Of course you do. That's who you are. And I love, there's a couple things that you said that I just want to talk about for a second. Um, it's not about how a person's exterior is, what they present physically. You're teaching them to go through their heart, right? You're
Mhm.
teaching them to feel. You're teaching them to use their emotions and their empathy and all of the things that are also a part of them, not just their physical being. And that's beautiful. And you're absolutely right. It's not what the kids are taught. They're taught the opposite of that. And then
Mhm.
I've never heard anyone talk about the word disability, but if you do break it down, it's disability. And so you still have the ability to do everything. You
Right.
do it in a way that works and functions for you, your unique
Hmm.
experience
Yes.
and journey. Yeah. And I have a friend who also has lost her left hand. She doesn't have a full left hand. And she's so freaking confident. She is so successful. She's amazing. She's got this beautiful spirit and personality, but we call it a situation. She says, my situation. And we laugh because we're like, a situation. Like, we don't call it a disability. We call it a situation.
Yeah.
And it
Yeah.
makes it light, it makes it fun, and it makes it easy. And it's what it is. It's what you make
Yeah.
it. It's your perspective. It's awesome. I love hearing that. And I love that your father said that, but you had it inside you, man.
Yeah.
You I could see you piss and vinegar, like, nobody's gonna tell me I can't get on that horse, and you just get
Yeah.
yourself up on that horse. And
Yeah.
that horse knew, though. You
Yeah.
said they know what you're
Yeah.
feeling. They know who you like. They feel your energy. They were like,
Yeah.
damn, she's getting up on this. We're gonna help her.
Yep.
Um, there's a reverence that I have for them. They're so powerful and beautiful, but soft at the same time. And I always wanted to be on them as a kid, and I never really got the opportunity to. Um, I've never spent a lot of time with them, but I would love to be with them and spend time with them. but it seems like they grounded that young boy. They gave
Yeah.
him, they anchored him sort of, or
Yeah.
they anchor him in general, or and others. It's like a
Yeah.
grounding is what I feel, right? Do you
Yeah.
feel that?
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you
It's
can read them. You get to know their body language. I can tell. I've had my horse Caden that I've had since I started Destiny's Ride. So he's 20 now, and I can watch him and I will know what's going on with that rider just by watching his behavior.
wow.
So, like, it'll tell me what's going on inside of that child or that adult.
Mm.
There was one time I had a gentleman, nonverbal autistic, and I didn't catch it. And I was leading Hayden, and he came up and he bit my shoulder. And that's very uncharacteristic. And so I turned around, and the look on this gentleman's face was that he could just literally jump off that horse and just kill somebody. Like he was angry, angry,
Wow.
angry. And so I was like, and so that was Caden's way of saying to me, we have a problem here.
Yes.
So I turned around and I was like, okay, I need you to do me a favor. Take some nice deep breaths in through your nose, out through your mouth. Get yourself nice and relaxed, okay? Because Caden's feeling what you're feeling. So let's try to let that go. And you knew he couldn't answer back to me. So, but I'm watching, watching him like relax and everything else. And then he seemed relaxed. And I said, okay, we're going to walk on now. And so as we started to walk and probably about 500 feet or so, Caden put his head down and he became relaxed. So that's how I knew, but I did not see what was going on. And Caden totally made me be aware of what went on with what was going on because it was a dangerous situation. We
That's
also had a
incredible.
kid that used to like the horse would start to put him to sleep. And I could never figure out why Caden kept dodging his head down. And I was like, what's going on? Well, he was sensing him going to sleep. And so he pulled him forward in order to get him to wake up. So now I have a rider who has seizures. And my other horse, Daisy, sensed that a seizure was coming on. She stopped. She stood there and she just let her get through it. So as long as your intuition is constantly going, you're with the horse, you're with the rider, and you're sensing the frequency. Something's not right. Something's I have to pay attention to this. So and that's why I'm always watching my rider and I'm watching the horse because that's how I keep everybody safe. I only do private lessons for that one reason because
Wow.
it's a triangle and it's three of us and the three of us are all
Mhm.
working together to build that relationship of trust and compassion but it's trust a lot of it is because they got to know that they're safe. They got to know that I have their best well-being
Mhm.
and I'm just going to do whatever I can. There's days
Mhm.
that I have the ring all set up and then they will come in and I just do something completely different. And just because I was like, and I didn't realize it until afterwards that they weren't ready for it that day, that they
Mm.
couldn't have that, like they just, it wasn't able. There was a time that I had decided to have the girl lead the horse around instead of getting on it first. And all of a sudden we had a big bee that was trying, like a horsefly, that was trying to land on the horse. And I was able to get the horse, get the child, and get him to safety. If I had put her on that horse, we probably would have had a situation. So it's interesting that like I get inclined to do something. So somebody's guiding me, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
And your business
it's
partners with your horse.
yeah, yeah.
It's like-
So it's always, the angels or whoever's watching out over me,
Mhm.
my spirit guides, they're always making sure that my ring is safe, my riders are safe.
Mm.
It's the most amazing thing in the world.
It really sounds incredible. I love hearing every single part of this. How did you even know that I know they told you to finish what you started, but how did you know what to do to even begin? How did you how'd you go about it?
Oh, let's see. I didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
And and I was like trying to, and there was nothing around me. And I was like, well, do we do like a dude ranch for amputees? Because with my first husband, we had 30 acres. We put up an 8 stall barn. We had 5 horses at one time. And it was just little by little, but it never took off. And
Mm.
and like I said, the kids came along, and then the divorce happened. And so I got divorced in six. So I went 3 years without horses, and then I went and got Cadence. So then then the internet was much bigger on the internet. So I started to look up and found out that there was such a thing as a therapeutic riding program and that there was a certification. And the certification alone took me well over a year. So the first thing, I was living in Massachusetts at the time. So I became a Massachusetts licensed riding instructor, and I was getting the therapeutic license. And it was little by little. I just
Mm.
learned a little bit at a time. But because I started so small, like I would have like maybe 2 riders a week. Like I started off very small, very grassroots, and so then when I moved the program from Massachusetts to New York, when I got married, I had to start all over again. And I was
Oh,
like,
wow.
this is hard. Like now
Mm.
I don't know anybody, and I have to figure out where I'm going to bring my horses. I have to find a facility that will take us in, and hope that and try to negotiate how much they want to pay. Can I work off part, like I work off part of my board currently to help, because with 3 horses, my board is 1250 a month. So
Wow.
I try to work off about $300 a month to help take off the overhead. So it was
Yeah.
little by little. So when I did it in New York, I was an LLC. It's a lot easier to manage an LLC. And then I got bold and I was like, in order to make this more, I have to become a not for profit. I have to be able to get the funding. I have to be able to, but then I'm like, now I'm managing a board of directors. So for
Mm-hmm.
my first 2 years, I'm now learning a new role. How do you manage a board of directors? They're supposed to be managing me. I'm managing them. I'm running the board meetings. I'm running the books. I was like, holy cow.
What have I done?
And at the time, I just started grad school to get my master's in occupational therapy. So I just had everything going, and everyone's like, you exhaust me. Like, where do you get the energy? And I said, it's got to get done.
Yeah. I've
Who
got
else is
things to
going to do
do.
it? Right,
Mm-hmm.
right.
Mm-hmm.
I'll sleep another time. Um, but what I think I realized was, because I did it so slow over 15 years, I really got to, in my managerial experience from TJ Maxx, I was managing an $8 million store
Mm-hmm.
with a staff of
Wow.
50, so
Wow.
I had the managerial, I had that. So when they say, like you walk a path, and in your path, it may not understand why you held the jobs that you did, but you carry all of those skills with you. And so, what I feel is that even all of the hardship that I had, and me deciding to go back to school, being a single mom, getting remarried, moving my program, all of this, I'm like right where I'm supposed to be at the perfect
Mm-hmm.
time. And I think that that's such an important piece of life. If Destiny's Ride became successful even 10 years ago, I think I would have missed something.
Mm-hmm.
When I go back and I look at it, it's been such an amazing experience, and it's all happened all at the perfect time. I now have a brand new board of directors. They're taking things off of my plate. They're like, we have this fundraiser coming up. We're going to do this. We're going to take care of this. You go teach lessons, and we're going to get the horses. I used to like have to get the horses ready, go in and out in between horses, try to go lesson after lesson. One horse was tied up in the indoor arena, so I could swap him out to go in
Oh my
between.
gosh.
And now I've got 2 to 3 there that are like changing out the horses. They're bringing me the horses. They bring me coffee on these cold days. But it's like so, and like I really like sat there. It was like the end part of last year, and I said, this is such a magical experience. I
Mm-hmm.
never thought it would get like this. And I
Mm-hmm.
think that that's the most important part, that we do have the hard, but it's getting through the hard and remaining positive that pushes us through because then we see the light at the end of the tunnel, and we know there's going to be more challenges,
Yes.
but look at how far, and it was all perfect timing. So divine timing is such a true thing. You just have
Mm-hmm.
to hold the belief. And I say it to my husband and I say it to my children. Your thoughts become things. If at one time I thought it wasn't going to be successful, it wouldn't have. But I kept
Mm-hmm.
holding on. And that's what they say, that, eventually it does come true. But you have to have the faith, and you
Yes.
can't let go of that faith. And you just and have to believe. It's going to happen at the perfect time, not your
Mm-hmm.
time, not my time, but when the universe says, congratulations, here you go.
It's time. Here you go. It's so important that you said that because it really, really is true. You're living it. And everything you did up until this moment benefited you. It taught you things. It gave you your skills you learned from, and you couldn't have done what you did before. You couldn't have
Mm-mm.
had the success then. You needed to do all these other things. And so more is coming. More
Yeah,
in a good way is coming.
yeah,
And it is time. It's time
yeah,
for these new ways of healing and learning and being to be presented to the world. And it's exciting. I'm happy that you have your board of directors that's supporting you because it's so important.
yeah,
And it is going to shift. It's shifting now, presently, into what the future of it is. So it's exciting for you. I'm so happy for you. It's such an interesting concept. And I know, I'm sure, we don't know how it's going to unfold. We just know we're supposed to do it. And putting one
yeah,
foot in front of the other, living that call, one foot in front of the other, one foot in front of the other, no matter how tired, how worn, how frustrated you may be. You suddenly one day happens and there's magic and you're like, okay. And then you keep trucking and then the magic comes and you keep trucking and you're realizing it. You're bringing it
yeah,
into reality. It's
yeah.
amazing.
It's the
Yeah.
passion that drives it.
Yeah.
You can be in, like, not the best of moods, but you drive onto that farm,
Hmm.
you automatically start to feel the shift. And you can be having the worst day. And by the time you get those horses and you're with them, and then I finish my lessons and I leave, and I'm in a different frame of
Hmm.
mind. It
Hmm.
all, like, all of a sudden doesn't matter. It's
Hmm.
just because you just made the difference. And the horses and those clients, they do something for me as well.
Hmm.
There's just something so wonderful about knowing that you're contributing to a higher good, and you're helping so many people without even realizing it. Like people will say,
Yeah.
well, Jodi, well, I admire you. You're strong. You're this. And I'm like, I'm just Jodi doing what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm just living my life and living my passion.
Hmm.
That's what it comes down to.
Hmm. And inspiring people and healing people. It is. It's amazing. It really, truly is amazing. Um, I would love to, so you said you want to shift into that space of being solely doing this. What does
Yeah.
that look like? Talk about what it looks like so we can bring it into reality.
What it would look like is that I would be able to um, go to the barn, probably get there maybe about 10 a.m. after doing work in the morning, but teaching lessons by 11 o'clock until probably about 4 o'clock. I would be doing hippotherapy, which is what I needed
Mm-hmm.
the OT degree for. So that's occupational therapy, where we use the horse as our source of modality. I would
Mm-hmm.
be having a veterans program so we can work with veterans. Also on my board, I have a mental health specialist. So we would work in with mental health, working with surrounding schools for homeschool children to have them come and do their gym or something with us. So it would
Mm-hmm.
be a bunch of different things. So it would be diverse, which is why it has the name. It's actually Destiny's Ride Therapeutic Program. And that's because there's so many different parts that I want to roll out. So it would be working with a variety of different adults and children within the community, the surrounding communities.
Mm-hmm.
And also, I got my certification for Oh my God, horse-powered reading. So you use the horses as your modality to help the children learn how to read and improve their math and reading skills.
Wow.
So I did that last January. So there's all of these different things. So our
Hmm.
biggest thing that we have learned is that small not-for-profits get overlooked. So it's
Hmm.
harder for us to acquire grants. You trying to find a grant writer is nearly impossible because they want a percentage of your grants. So
Hmm.
trying to find someone who will do it pro bono, not doesn't always happen. So we're going to be running our first annual appeal, and we have to sponsor riders. We have an area, Hudson, New York. It's very, they are
Beautiful.
socioeconomically challenged. So we
Hmm.
try to sponsor riders. Well, we don't have the funds to sponsor riders, so I've been pretty much giving them a reduced fee and just taking the hit,
Hmm.
which is why I don't get paid because
Hmm.
I let them ride instead of me getting paid. So we're looking to the board has now said Jodi must get paid. And so we will start that way, but we're going to need to. So we're going to do some fundraisers. We're going to do an annual appeal and try to do grants to try to sponsor these programs. So if we can get grants that will sponsor us to bring in maybe, like 6 veterans for 6 weeks to allow them that hour once a week to come in and experience the horses.
Oh,
A grant
that'd be
for the
incredible.
reading program. Hippotherapy, that's a whole different, that's insurance. But the therapeutic riding, I mean, that does so much, but we have to be able to cover what those costs are, because
Hmm.
horses are not cheap.
They're like
One
car. They're very expensive.
Yeah, one horse needed x-rays and it was
Mm.
$800 just for x-rays on the two front legs.
Wow.
So, and then they have medication, and their medications are probably about $200 a month. Their food is about $150 a month. Their board is $1,200 a month. So, and when we raised the prices to $50 for a half-hour lesson, which I'm one of the cheapest in the area, they said we're going to have to stop riding. So I said, okay, I will sponsor you for the $10. So but that's what I do because to me, I need to help other people. I, I
Yes.
need, I don't want someone to sit there and say this would, knowing how good it would be for a child who is for, ADHD, whether it's autism, whether they have bipolar, mental issues, any type of CP, anything imaginable. Horses have a way of helping them. So someone with MS, that horse's movement. So a horse, even though they have 4 legs, their walk mimics our two gait. So when the horse is walking, it's shifting our hips to move, which then helps build the core muscles. So someone like MS, it can help them to build those core muscles. So
It's
a child
incredible.
who has low muscle tone, I have a young lady, he came to me when she was 4 years old today, and that was, I think she's going on 3 years with me. And I bought her a special saddle to help hold her in place. She's now riding on her own. And someone that she knows that she goes to school with goes to a different program, and they still have this little kid in like this box. And here I have her. And I said, but that's the OT in me. I want you to be able to ride a horse on your own one day. I'm not
Hmm.
about guaranteed income. I'm about making you self-sufficient, being able to ride a horse, own your own horse someday, because somebody will always come to me and I will always be, the right people always come to me. You know, I have women who are in their 50s who come to me just to experience horse and get life balance back and help with them with their stress. So I get this
Hmm.
variety of people. So I don't want to have to turn somebody away who can't afford it. I
No.
like
Yeah.
I want to help as many people as I can. So, and it's funny because every time one person leaves, I always get another person. So, I went from where I had 5 lessons a week, and I think we're up to we have 20 riders, and I'm probably doing about 15 lessons a week.
Wow.
So ideally, it would be teaching 5 to 6 hours a week, being able to go up to 4 to 5 horses and be able to sustain them. And just that would be my goal, like 4 to 5
Yeah, and maybe
horses.
get a corporate sponsor for
Yeah,
some of those special events
yeah,
and
yeah.
get in alignment with, and who knows if there's someone out there that could donate grant writing, please reach out to me or Jody. But it's true. I mean, like people need to hear your story. And this year, 2025 is the year of asking for what you need. Really, it's sitting in your power and asking for what you
Yeah,
need, which is so
yeah,
hard for women. And it's amazing. Your story is absolutely incredible. It's a wonderful journey of starting off with empowerment and wonderment, and not letting anything stand in your way, and just
yeah.
refinding that spark and that connection again, and then connecting and igniting other people in such a beautiful, wonderful way. And you are an inspiration. You absolutely are. 100%, 1 million
Thank you.
percent. Yeah, you are. And not just with your situation, but with just your vision and your perseverance and what you want to bring to the world and everything about you. So I'm so happy to be able to highlight your story today and talk about Destiny Child. So I want people, tell them where they can find you, please, and
Okay.
at all the places and all the things, anything that you want to highlight.
Okay. So we're located in Chatham, New York. We are on a private farm. And our website is destinysride.org, DESTINYSRIDE.org. On there has my story. It has where we're located. It has links. It has a donation page. It has pictures of some of the riders, so it gives a little bit about history of us. Because of where we're located in New York, we have riders from Massachusetts, like from the Berkshires and surrounding, like up through Albany and around. I do have people who come if they're visiting the area, they will actually come and take a few lessons. So I try to always like leave that open for people to come in and do. And like I said, soon we're going to have a veterans program. We're going to have the hippotherapy program, the horse-powered reading. So we're going to be growing a lot more. You can reach me at the website, or that email is Destiny's Ride Therapeutic at gmail.com. I normally get back to people relatively quickly. If they wanted to make a donation, that's on the website as well. PayPal, Venmo.
It's
We
awesome.
are we are in the process. We just acquired funding from Harrington's, which is a lumber yard. They gave us 2,500, which is now building
Nice.
one of the horses, a brand new run-in shelter. So our next
Incredible.
mission is to try to get like a little like those little those little tractor thingies that has
Hmm.
the hatch so that we can go in, and because we have to clean our own pastures. So we're look gators, I think it was called. So that we can drive into the pastures, clean the pastures, and not have to try to deal with wheelbarrows and stuff like that.
My
So
goodness.
that's like one of our fundraising things. We're going to be doing a spaghetti fundraiser in the end of March. So lots of different things. But so even though people are all over the place, they can sponsor a rider for 6 weeks.
Mm,
And then what we do is we send a picture of the rider and their horse and a little update about what they have learned. So we think that helps them connect with their rider. They can sponsor a horse and help pay the horse's monthly expenses. So there's lots of different ways that
there
people can help.
is. Yeah.
But if they want to come ride, be more than happy to. And if there's an amputee and they don't know how to ride because they have one hand, I ride with and without my prosthetic hand. I rode for 25 years with one hand. So you can do it, and I do jump the horses. I jump them. I train them. There's not much I can't do. So amputees who don't know how to do something, even if there's an amputee or somebody who doesn't know how to do any life skill, I can do just about everything from putting my hair in a ponytail. So I can
That's
also help
incredible.
any amputees out there who are stuck and they just, and they want to give up. Don't give up. You just got to keep pushing. You just don't see why it happened right now, and believing
Hmm.
that everything does happen to us for a reason, and we just have
Mm.
to hold the faith, really.
Ah, I just love talking to you. I could listen to you all day. It's amazing. I'm so happy to have met you. And also, you are in the Spirit Calling community. And
Yes.
anyone who's in our community who they're also watching this podcast, you can connect directly with Jodi there as well. So I want to make sure, get to know her, ask her questions. Um, but I just want to thank you so much for being our guest on this episode. And it's such a unique story, and it's empowering and amazing. And I'm just really grateful to have had you as a guest. And I want to say thank you for being here. And to everyone, I want you to remember, until next time, you just heard, within every moment lies the call to listen to your spirit, like Jodi did. And it's your job to answer it and to honor it and to always live the call. Thank you so much for tuning in. Today's episode sparked insights for you on your healing journey. If you're searching for support and connection, you should join our community at spirit-calling.com. Spirit Calling is a like-minded community of spiritual individuals learning, sharing, and growing together every day. No matter what you're experiencing in your journey, you'll find resources and a community to support you along the way. Until next time, keep listening to your internal guidance and stepping into your spirit's call.